Dear students, in our previous video we were discussing the classes and methods. In that we have discussed how we can convert a functions to a method, how to invoke a method and few problems on methods. Now we'll continue the topics in this video. The initialization method is the first topic we are going to discuss in it. What is this initialization method? The initialization method is a special method that is invoked when an object is created. The name of this method is init. It's just similar to the constructor in the hoops concepts what you have learnt. So whenever you just create an object, it invokes this method. The name of this method should always be an init. So you have to write 2 underscore before the name and after the name 2 underscore. Here it is. Okay, this is how you need to write. Here we have used an example, the class time. Inside that we have written a constructor or the initialization method. It accepts different parameters in it. It all depends on the problem what you are going to write. You write the parameters. Here we are working with a time object. So we are passing the time and then the object of type time, and we are passing the values what to be initiated for this object, the different attributes of the object which we are creating. So inside this what we are doing, whatever the objects we are receiving, those values we are going to, whatever the values of the attributes we are going to receive, those values we are going to assign for each of the attributes of the objects which we have created. And we are just printing on time, whatever the time, in the format of the time we are just printing. We'll just execute this. How we are going to invoke this? Because you have 2 things in it. One is the hours, year, minutes, seconds. The second thing is self.hours, self.minutes. Is there any conflict between these 2? Definitely no. These are the different attributes of the time object. These are the values which we are passing. These are the variables. But we have named it as an hours, minutes, seconds. This is different with this. Okay. How we are going to invoke? We create an object here of this this class time. So when we just create an object, it automatically invokes this method and it assigns the value. Since we are not passing anything in this, so by default it takes these default values, that is 0 has been given for all of these 3 parameters. So it will assign 0 for all these 3 attributes. We are invoking a method print time. So we just pass this current time as an object here, as an argument. We print the values of these different attributes. So the result what we are going to get is all these 3 are 0, 0, 0. So now the second, we are just passing all the 3 values, hours, minutes and seconds. These 3 values will be passed for this hours, minutes and seconds. When we get the values, it won't assign these default values. Whenever we are not providing any values, then it assigns the default values. Okay, in this example, all the 3 parameters are there. This is what the output we get. What if you want only one value? Yes, we can do that. We can assign only for the hour, we can execute. Or if you want both hours and minutes, yes, you can do that. This is how we can just pass hours and minutes, we can do it. What if I want values, but not for an hour, only for the minute or minute and seconds? Yes, we can do that by providing the explicit naming. So we can assign by giving the names. This is for the seconds, this is for the hours. It's not necessary that we need to follow the sequence. But only thing, what parameter you are going to pass, that you need to be written in that with the names. So it will be assigning the hour for that hour field or the hour attribute, the seconds for this, and since we are not passing anything as for the minutes, it assigns a 0 for that. This is how we can execute the things with the varying varying the parameters for the methods which we are invoking. So in the previous class we discussed a problem on this, how we can have an optional parameters for the methods. This can also be an example for that optional parameters. So next topic is points revisit. So point class is a more object oriented style, like whatever the class we already created with this point with an initialization method, we're just adding an additional things into it. Already we know what is this initialization method, how it works. Here we have two parameters. These are the x and y points values. So by default it takes the value 0. Otherwise if it pass any value, that value will be assigned for this points, for the x coordinate and for the y coordinate. Along with that, this is an additional thing what we have here, str method. We already discussed what is an str method, right? It is an inbuilt method. It's a type conversion. When we want to convert any type of the value into a string, we need to pass a parameter for this method, str, correct? This is also called as a class as well when we are checking with the different types of the data types, right? Int, float and str. So here is a thing, it replaces, or what I can call it, it overrides the methods of the str function which we have already learned. How it overrides this? What all the things it overrides? And what exactly we are expecting in this? The similar way how this str works, right? Here we created a point of type this and we are passing the value 3 and 4 and we are invoking a method str. The normal way of doing this, whatever this point object will be converted into a string. Now how this str is working without this and with this, that we'll discuss. Okay. First we'll see what is this str is. In this we have one statement. We are returning this value to the method which we are invoking when we are invoking it. So we are returning an open small bracket plus it's a concatenation, converting this parameter what has been received with this point x, that to be converted into string. Again concatenate with a comma, then a space, then we are concatenating with a second coordinate y, then concatenate with a close small bracket. This is what the result we are returning back to the function or returning back as a result of the method. Otherwise, I have one more statement in this. So the same statement we have used inside the print statement in the previous chapter. That is the main reason why I have used it here. Even with this, it can work fine. So we are printing the x value, that in place of this percentage g, it is in float value. Y value in place of this, we are returning back that for this. Even this works same. I'll tell you what will be the drawback later. So what we are going to get with this strp, it's converting this point into the form of a string. We got that. The same method will be invoked with the print as well. We are printing by passing the parameter, we are creating the object, along with we are passing the parameters for x and y, that is 10 and 40. So when we just invoke this, or when we just create an object, it invokes the method in it. It assigns x value and y value for this, and then when we invoke this print p, it invokes this str, we get this result. So we get this value 1040. So you might be thinking, what is the big thing in this? If I just use str, it automatically converts. If I just write print p, it has to print where it is invoking this. So if you have that confusion, we'll just make this command. We'll come to know how this works without this, right? strp, the result will not be we should execute this. The result will not be the same what we get earlier now. What we are going to get is the name, what type of the object is and what its ID is. The same result you are going to get with this print as well. When you are printing, because this is not a normal variable, it is a class. where it is having multiple attributes. When you are working this, you will be getting what type of object and what is the name of the object and what is the ID of this object. I hope you understood now what is this strp and print p. Normally you will be getting how this overrides the effect of str and print with the method which we have written as str. So now, instead of using the previous, we'll just invoke this. We'll just use this statement here. Okay. So we'll not find any difference in that. But the reason is, can I write any of these two statements irrespective of the problems? Definitely no, you can't write that, because you can observe one very important thing. Whatever the parameter is, whatever the type of the parameter is, it's converting it into a string and then we are using that in this. It works for any parameter type, but this problem doesn't work for any type of the parameter. For example, if I just make a changes in this, I want just to pass, instead of an values, integer or float, let me pass one floating value or one integer value and string. Will it work? Or if both are string, will it works? With this statement, yes, because already we executed this and we'll just execute this, we get the result. But what if I change this? So it throws an error because it can't convert, because these parameters are of, will accept only the real numbers, not the string. But the parameter what we are passing is a string. That is the reason, even in your previous problem, if you want to make these changes, you can use this change and use this inside the print, so that we can get it can work for any type of value. These changes can be updated over there as well. Whenever we create a new class, we always start with this init, so that it will make our work easier to initiate the objects. And when we are going to use this str is always useful for debugging, just to find out if there are any errors in the while executing the steps. We make use of this str to help the debugging. With this, I'm winding up this session. Thank you for learning.